Hello to everyone. In this lesson, I will introduce you to some communication techniques and give you some tips to use them easily during your public presentation. If you have not had experience in public speaking, it would be advisable to gradually start using some of the techniques we will talk about. Public speaking is a skill that is learned over time and involves constant practice. Thus, a first technique would be not ramble on and talk too much. Whenever a public speaker is disorganized, it is very difficult to follow what he is talking about. If you want to have a nice, organized, and concise message, it means that you need to take enough time to create an introduction, body, and conclusion. And make sure that your main points are clear and that there is a transition statement between each idea. It is said that if you have to speak for 5 minutes, you will need 2 weeks to prepare. If you have to speak for an hour, you will need a week of preparation. But if it doesn't matter how long we speak, then we can do it now. The second is not to look disorganized to the audience. You must look directly at the audience, not over people's heads or at the floor or ceiling. It is advisable to say a thought or sentence and look into a person's eyes. And on the next thought, look to another person. It can be awkward to look someone straight in the eyes, but you have to prepare because that's what the audience wants. We want people to connect with us. The next technique is not to include too much detail in your notes. We are often tempted to load our notes or PowerPoints with everything we want to say. But when we get emotional during the presentation, we end up focusing only on the notes and looking down, reading very stiffly, not connecting with people. So what you need to do is to reduce your notes so that you have a conversational style with the audience. A tip would be not to overload your presentation with lots of animations and complicated text. If there is a lot of information, details, images in the presentation, then you will be more focused on exposing all the information rather than expressing the message. An advice that will help you is to not talk more than 1 minute per slide in your PowerPoint presentation. This will help you organize your time and your message. Another piece of advice is not panic. Don't move back and forth aimlessly because you are excited. You have to have a nice, confident posture where you stay in one place for a while and then, if you want to, move on purpose, stay in another place for a while and share another idea. You can use gestures to emphasize a point. Don't put your hands in your pockets or play with a pen. If you practice, you'll be able to skip the uncontrolled gestures. Another technique is managing how you expose yourself. What you shouldn't do is speak too slowly, using filler words like You should avoid filler words which add no value to the sentence. You need to have a confident voice with a medium volume, with emphasis on the words you want to emphasize, and pause after sharing a key thought. Also, remember to look confident. You don't have to apologize for being emotional. Sometimes speakers tend to apologize to the audience. This is a completely wrong move. Apologizing for being emotional puts you in a defensive position, which makes you appear weak and unconvincing. After the first minute of presentation, you will relax. But this technique is learned through practice until the nervousness disappears naturally. Another tip is to dress comfortably but professionally. How you dress depends on the audience, but the general principle is to dress professionally to make a good impression. Make sure you follow rules of care and hygiene. Many experts believe that you should dress according to how your audience dresses. It's up to you, but you should take into account that you need to feel comfortable. The next tip is to tell a story that goes with your message. People like associations and stories. Storytelling is a great way to make your material more engaging and connecting with your audience. Make sure the story told is relevant. If you talk about your business idea, you can tell them how you developed the idea and how your product will contribute to the development of the community. And the last tip is to be interactive. Remember that with your speech you want to inform, inspire, and engage the audience. And talking to them is not enough. The best public speakers include interactive elements in their speeches. Interactivity is one of the key public speaking skills. It can take many forms. This offers many benefits. It keeps the audience engaged. It helps you understand how well they are following your message. These were 10 tips and best practices regarding public communication techniques. Please remember them for your public communication training. At the end of this lesson, I remind you that public speaking is a skill that is learned over time, with a lot of practice and motivation. Thank you for watching. See you.